If you're a birder and on Instagram, you've probably seen videos of a feeder station in Costa Rica completely swarmed with honeycreepers and toucans. It's usually tagged as La Jolla Gardens or Guarumo Lodge. We were heading to the Caribbean coast, so we decided to stop in and see if it actually lives up to the social media hype. I'm Libby, and this is my honest wildlife review of Guarumo Lodge. In March 2026, Dave and I decided to return to Costa Rica for the second time. You can check out my blogs of our first visit here on oceantojungle.com. This time round, we planned a road trip and were hiring a 4x4, but getting to the Caribbean coast, places like Manzanillo and Cahuita, is a pretty long drive from when you land in the capital, so breaking up a journey is a must. We landed in Alajuela near the airport and spent our first night in Velaz Guest House, which was an absolute bargain at just £30 a night. For this, you get a pretty basic but large room with a hot water shower en suite. The next morning, we picked up our rental car for the next 3 weeks, grabbed a quick breakfast from a tiny supermarket, and immediately spotted our first bit of wildlife, variegated squirrels just hanging out in the park, as well as lots of Amazon lord parrots as well. Then we hit the road towards Guapiles. The roads here are actually amazing, very good tarmac, very few potholes, especially compared to UK driving. We did get stuck in a bit of traffic early on, but as you ascend into the mountains towards Guapiles, the scenery becomes absolutely breathtaking. So we just arrived at Guarumo Lodge, literally just parked the car there. The guy says there's 2 sloths in this tree. So immediately we saw the three-toed sloth with a baby tucked in right there in a tree. It wasn't a bad welcome to the lodge. So let's talk about the lodge itself. We paid about £105 for the night, and the room was pretty basic, 2 double beds with an ensuite, but it did have hot water, which was great. There's a nice swimming pool, but we didn't use it, and a restaurant on site that serves quite tasty food with a lovely view out of the river. But the elephant in the room here that Instagram doesn't show you is it's situated right next to a very busy, very noisy main highway. You are definitely not in the silent, tranquil depths of the jungle here. But you don't really come here for the rooms, you come here for the birds. This is the feeder area. If you look online, you'll see videos of 40 plus birds swarming these bananas at once. However, we were here in the middle of March, which is right in the middle of nesting season. A lot of the birds are busy on their nests, so it wasn't an absolute frenzy that you see online, but it was still incredibly good. Still, it didn't take long for the heavy hitters to show up, and we saw both keel-billed and yellow-throated toucans hopping through the treetops high up above. It was also the first chance I got to use my brand new spotoscope, the Celestron hummingbird, which Dave got me for Christmas. The toucan moved lower down and we were actually treated to a little bit of a song by him. We then spotted a white-collared manakin in the bushes, and then a gorgeous ringed kingfisher. But look at where he's perched, right next to this busy highway. You can literally hear the trucks roaring past. Still, wildlife adapts, but it is definitely a jarring contrast. Over at the feeders, we had a brilliant stream of visitors. We had the shining honeycreeper, blue-grey tanagers, the stunning red-legged honeycreeper, our mate the variegated squirrel who was stealing all the snacks, and of course the clay-coloured thrush, Costa Rica's national bird, as well as the brilliantly bright golden-hooded tanager and a russet-naped wood rail sneaking around the bottom. Our favourite moment was watching the white-collared Manakin. He was on his own, but he was actually at a Lekking site, which is basically a dance floor where the males practice their displays to show off for females. It was brilliant to watch, even if he didn't have any backup dancers. And as night fell, some of the frogs started to come out, and we saw the red-eyed tree frog and the strawberry poison dart frog. The next morning, we woke up with the dawn chorus, but only managed to see about the same as what we saw the previous day. There was the black-cheeked woodpecker, the white-necked Jacobin hovering around, and an orange-billed sparrow. Plus, our Manakin friend came back, posing absolutely perfectly in full view for some incredible photos. So, what's the final verdict on Guarumo Lodge? It really is a great place to stop and break up the long drive to the Caribbean coast. But keep your timing in mind, as nesting season means fewer birds at the feeders, and remember that £105 a night is a bit steep for a basic room next to a noisy road. For us travelling DIY, one night was a great stop, but I probably wouldn't stay longer than that. Join me in the next video where we hit the coast. And don't forget to check out my blog, oceantojungle.com. Bye!